Hello everybody, so back to YouTube. I hope everybody has been doing well. It's been a long time since I posted on here. I can only apologise. Again, still not something I'm overly comfortable with, but it's really cool platform to share things, so I'm going to make more of an effort moving forward. Since the last video I think I posted, the world has gone completely crazy, yeah, it's a very different world we're living in. No gym, can't believe it. So I have not been to the gym since the UK went into lockdown, which was I think about 8 weeks now. I'm honestly losing track of time. Since then, I've just been training as the best as I can in my spare room. I'm fortunate to have accumulated some gym kit in the meantime, and I'm making do. And I just thought now would be a cool time to kind of share some of my training, what I'm doing to kind of keep me ticking over, doing my very best to continue to progress my physique, and hopefully, give you guys a bit of maybe inspiration and some ideas of your own training that you can take forward. So I'm going to go through a pull session today. I'm going to talk through all of the exercises just so you can understand my reasoning for them, how I do them, kind of what I'm thinking about, and the reasoning behind everything. So hopefully a bit more informative. Yeah, if you find it informative, please let me know. If there's anything you would like me to do moving forward, let me know. But my plan is to kind of do one session maybe every week of what I'm currently doing, and just showing what's going on, really being honest, being truthful, and we're all in this together. So here we go. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the session. Bear with me again, still getting used to this again, but hopefully the voiceovers aren't too waffly, and you can get something from the video. So here's my pull session, starting off with a single arm row variation, something very similar that I do at the gym, but obviously I do it there with the machine. For the most part, I've tried my best throughout lockdown to think about keeping the session similar to how I would program within a gym environment, but obviously using the tools that I now have available to me. Bands are very, very useful. I have load, I have weight available to me, I have dumbbells, etc. However, in this situation, I think it's a great exercise to start off. Focus for me being getting that lat really contracted, a nice contraction, nice mind muscle connection as well. You'll notice every single rep, I'm holding that contraction on, I'm squeezing that muscle nice and tight, getting everything lit up so that when I move on to the session, I am fired up, I am ready to roll. Also on the very final rep, which we're on any minute now, I think, I will hold an isometric hold, really fight that squeeze. Here it comes for as long as I can and really fry the lat as best as possible. So now my lats are switched on and warmed up. I moved on to a bent over row. So a heavier loading movement for me here. I did actually do a top set on 140 kilos, but I didn't film that because I was quite worried I was going to go through the floor of my apartment. However, it survived. So I used warm-up sets, lead-in sets, and also a couple of back-off sets here because I haven't got any heavier than 140 kilos. So I kind of used more reps, more volume to put more stress through my back. But a nice basic movement. This would be my absolute staple of a back session. So really pleased I can still do this movement and kind of milk it for all it's worth for the time being. So to hit the lats slightly differently, another row variation. I'm fortunate enough to have these dumbbells from Mace Muscles. They also did the blue plates you'll see in the last video. And here, as you'll see, I'm limited on the load. This is 40 kilos, but it does allow me to get a slightly different variation into my programming, still decent weight, and just focusing on making sure that I'm actually contracting. There's no rocking, there's no kind of momentum. It's all through driving that elbow back, contracting the lat. Again, I'm only going to show you one arm. You don't need to see both, but again, a very nice exercise for me to do there. So now I come on to like the back end, I suppose, of the meaty part of the back session. I'm going to do some shrug work after this, but this is the last kind of bit. And again, this is where bands come into play. High rep, focused contractions, slightly more metabolic stress. So I'm doing a superset here. This first set takes a while. As you'll see, I'm really holding that contraction. This is a banded pull down. I'm doing it kneeling because I'm quite tall. If I did it kind of stood up, I wouldn't really get the same kind of line of pull. It wouldn't feel the same. It wouldn't feel half as good. And again, that's something I'd encourage people to think about is, play around with movements, change your body position, move further away. Obviously, the further I am away here, the greater the squeeze, the greater the kind of tension in the band is going to be at the bottom. So it's just finding that happy medium where you can kind of get that peak contraction. Bands, the resistance profile isn't optimal. At this stretch position, when my arms are out in front of me, I don't bother going up to the top because there's very little tension there. But then at the bottom, it really, really sets me alight. So straight after the banded pull downs, little swivel round, grab these bands here, and we're going to do a low banded row. Again, if we did this kind of earlier in the session when we're pretty fresh, you're going to get loads of reps. You're not really going to kind of push to fatigue, push to failure. But doing it in this order, I'm now kind of nice and tired. I can really feel that tension. But at the same time, I think I do 20 reps per set, focus contraction, and 2 rounds of this. That was all I needed to kind of finish those lats off and final kind of finish with a nice pump as well. So that one was a nice little finisher for me on the lat portion. So coming on to the final superset of back, this is shrugs. So I'm not sure if I did a heavier set or not. Again, higher volume sets here with limited load, making sure I really get a nice contraction. Normal barbell shrug, nothing extravagant. I've always enjoyed and always liked shrugs. And they're in here. This is a really nice superset actually. Something I saw from Joe Bennett. He did with the banded shrugs that I'm going to do shortly, and kind of fatiguing here and then going on to them. Different kind of sensation completely, but a really nasty contraction at the top. Obviously the band tension at the top is serious, and standing on the green bands, there's quite a lot of tension throughout. So it was a very good finisher. I think I did 3 rounds of this. Again, slightly higher rep work, working with what we've got available to us. Like I said, load isn't necessarily going to be the main driver for me right now, but it's finding ways of making the sessions as hard as possible with the tools at my disposal. So we come on to the least favourite part of my session in terms of things I like to film. For anyone who follows me for an extended period knows that, arms are not my forte in terms of body part. I don't really kind of show my training for them because it's not very spectacular. It's not like leg training where, I've got a good set of wheels, so I can show off a little bit. But anyway, to be truthful, to be transparent, to show you the full extent of this session, here we go, single arm dumbbell isolation curl. Again, using what I have and kind of getting the most out of it. This is a fantastic movement, really focusing on full extension and contracting as hard as I could. I think I pushed about 15 reps, and that's pretty much touching failure for me. So again, nice to be able to push the bicep that hard in this. The extent of my arm training at the end of this session is not huge. We've got this and then a superset, and then that's that. So to finish the session off, I did a superset with banded hammer curls and then into banded bicep dumbbell curls. You'll notice I've got the Bear Grips occlusion bands on. Occlusion training isn't something I do a whole lot of, but right now, in this time where load is slightly kind of compromised. Finding ways to really stress the muscle in a different kind of way is really important for me. So these, felt great. Enormous pump, huge amount of blood flow, and just a really nice finisher for the session. Like I said just before, this is just these 3 exercises at the back of this session. The current setup I actually have an arm day. So, God loves a trier, and I'm doing my very best to try and grow these little arms. But this was certainly a really, really good way to finish. These dumbbell curls here, they took me all the way. They got sloppier and sloppier, but it was just great to drive, the blood in there, get a huge kind of metabolic stress, and just finish the session off, as I started with a lot of hard work. Okay, so there we have it. Pull, done. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe it was informative to some degree. Bear with me. I'm no videographer. I'm no kind of YouTube expert, and I'm still kind of finding my feet, getting used to this. So the video quality is just going to be iPhone out of my spare room, as real as it gets, and just hopefully giving a really true insight into what my lockdown training kind of looks like and has looked like for the past 8 weeks. So if you have any comments, if you have any questions about the video, any suggestions about further ones, I have actually got a few in mind, so hopefully I won't be half as long between. I am genuinely aiming for 1 a week moving forward. I want to put my effort into YouTube a bit more and see what we can do. So yeah, thank you everybody who has kept following me and subscribed in the meantime. And again, a huge thank you for all the support I get here and on Instagram and the other social platforms. So take care, and I will see you again hopefully very soon.